All right, how's it going, folks? So today we're going to look at 5 musical resources to help you become a better songwriter, a better producer, and better understand music theory. So the first thing we're going to look at is Chordify, and this is an amazing website I discovered earlier this year. And let's just check out exactly what it does. So it basically creates tablature for piano, guitar, and ukulele based on any song you choose that is on YouTube. So it could have 5 views or it could have 5 million views, and you could jam along to any of these tracks. So we're going to use our song Free featuring Lynx and KO as an example. So let's just give this a listen. So you can see I switch from guitar to piano. You could switch to view as well if you just want to kind of see further in advance. You could also export the Midi. You could loop certain sections. You could change the BPM. And you could also transpose the chords if you want to play on with a capo, for example. So the second thing we're going to look at is Auto Chords. It's an amazing free website. It's pretty simple. You just basically choose a key. You choose, major, minor. You choose instrument. And it basically pulls up all the chords in the key. So you got the 7 different chords here. And you could really easily just test out chord progressions. So just for this example, we'll do the classic 1-5-6-4 chord progression. It also just helps to kind of see it laid out like this. I find, especially for people who are newer to music theory, just to really understand, the different chords, the basic triads in every key. So that's auto chords. Third thing we're going to look at is Mix and Key. And this is an amazing program. It's not free, unfortunately. You have to buy it, but I originally got it to help my DJing, so I could group my DJ tracks by key, because that makes the transitions generally more flawless if the songs are in the same key. And later on, I started using it for production, so I imported all my production samples, and it's really awesome because there's subfolders, so you could, here's all my trumpet and brass, here's a new disco, here's bass slaps, here's vocals from singers. And it groups everything by key. You could just click, D. Here's everything that's just A. So if I'm working in a song in A major, I could just easily drag any of these samples. I also have my acapellas there. And I just drag it into Ableton. And technically these are all in A major. So they should work in my song that I'm producing that's A major. Something to keep in mind, the algorithm in Mix and Key isn't always correct. I'd say most of the time it is. The third thing we're going to look at is Synthesia. So this is actually a paid app. However, there's a ton of free songs that you could jam to on YouTube. It's basically the equivalent of Guitar Hero for piano. And I find it awesome because there's easy versions of songs, there's like extremely hard versions or the regular versions of songs. It makes it really user friendly for no matter what level you're at to play along. So let's just use this as an example. This is John Newman, Love Me Again. This is the easy version. And then this is the regular version. Now you can see the blue shade is supposed to be for your left hand and the green is supposed to be for your right hand. And I find it also helpful if the song's really hard, you could change the playback speed. So sometimes I'll do 0.75, or if it's extremely difficult, I'll do 0.5 speed. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. and let us know if you have any questions. The fifth thing we're going to look at is Midi and Midi files in general, and using them for your remixes and covers. So it's super easy to find Midi. All you really need to do is type in the song name and the artist name Midi on Google, and generally there's a ton of free websites, and all you do is you drag in the downloaded file into Ableton or Logic. So I dragged into Logic here, and now let's just give it a listen. This is We Are Family by Sister Sledge. So you could really easily turn this into a remix. You could turn this into a cover. You know, you could swap out these instruments for new instruments. You could just use the bass line or transpose it or chop it up. The possibilities are endless. But by just visually seeing the notes that, you know, Sister Sledge wrote on the piano, or like the syncopation in the bass line, and just by studying all the different elements in the song, I find it really helps to paint the picture of what makes a song great. And I find studying Midi really useful. We did a cover of Stairway to Heaven last year that we put out, and that Midi was really cool. There was BPM changes, there was time signature changes. Just by looking at the Midi, you could really learn a lot. And doing remixes and covers, I think, is one of the best ways to become a better producer and songwriter as well. All right, so let's just dive into this free Midi pack. So we're going to be putting a link below in the comments to our major minor triad Midi pack. And it's super simple. It has all the 7 triads for every key, major, minor. All you have to do is highlight it. There's Logic. Let's just drag it into Ableton. And it has the numerals as well. So if you want to do the 1, 5, 6, 4 or different chord progression, you can. And this is a really quick way if you know you're doing a song in, you know, a certain key, such as F sharp major. You just drag it into Ableton or your DAW, and you know, you could just really easily rearrange the chord progression. What I usually do when I find something I like is Command J to consolidate it all, and then you could have fun experimenting. You could do different inversions. You could highlight it, hold Option, then click. I would just experiment with doing different inversions of the chords, layering them, maybe doing, you know, bass notes in the lower octaves. I find it really fun to jam on the pentatonic scale over the chord progression you write. And in the major scale, that would be the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And in the minor scale, that would be the 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. I really hope this inspires you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm LOEB from PINEO and LOEB. Please subscribe and let us know if you have any questions. Take care. Happy producing.